Dave, Martin.
Hello.
Hello. Do you like read the book? Books in general?
Of course, yes.
And name books. Name your favorite book.
My favorite book. Golly, that's a hard one. The book I'm reading at the moment is about running. It's called Born to Run, and it's about a tribe of Indians that live in South America who spend a lot of time running great distances. I'm not sure what my favorite one is. I'll have to think about that.
Okay, so maybe shall we start? Shall we start, guys? I think that we have enough people, you know, I mean, we can start and then maybe somebody else will join us. So just once again, as usual, guys, I would like to ask you to switch on your camera if possible, because it's always nice to see your faces. So today is the second time that we have gathered here. So some of you already listened to TED Talks earlier. And today I am really happy to introduce my friend, one more friend of mine, Martin, who is a marathon runner. And I think that's incredible. Like when I learned that he runs marathons and how many of them he ran, I was really surprised. So he's going to talk today about running marathons. So Martin.
Okay. Hi, everyone. It's lovely to meet you this evening. The weather here is beautiful. I understand where you are. It's not been such a good day, a bit of rain, a bit of hail. So I'm Martin, and can I introduce Karen as well, who is my wife of many years. I'm just going to share my screen with you. There we go. So hopefully you can see a map of the United Kingdom. David spoke to you last week, and he is somewhere near, well, somewhere between Manchester and the word kingdom on that screen. To get to where we live, you need to come down the screen, and you can see a place called Bristol right at the bottom. And if we zoom in, how do I do this? Oh, we're frozen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, she's not really.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I've just got this frozen screen. Just hold on.
You can just show maybe with the mouse and we can see.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing and start sharing again.
Okay.
No, that's frozen. Bear with me 1 second while I sort this out.
We tested all this at 10 o'clock today, and everything worked perfectly at 10 o'clock.
Of course.
We looked at all the pictures and everything worked just right.
Yeah, that's going to be tricky. So yeah, if you look on the screen now, I've zoomed in to the part of the country that we live in. So we're in the southwest. You can see a town called Taunton, and we live slightly to the east of that. Yeah, there's a little place called Glastonbury with a blue dot. We are that blue dot. There we go. There's a blue dot again in a little village called Eddington. So my screen share seems to have started moving again now. So where we are, it's not very built up. We would call it rural, a lot of agriculture, a lot of farming, and it's a very beautiful county to live in. And as you know, I have a hobby, and I like running. Would anybody like to share what sport they do? So my favorite sport is running. Would somebody like to just call out what sports they take part in?
You can just switch on your microphone, guys, and say what sport is your favorite. So do you do any sport?
Table tennis and snowboarding ski.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Skiing, cycling, and running.
Thank you.
Running.
How far do you run?
Could you repeat, please?
How far do you run? What distance?
10 or 6 kilometers.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. So when I was young, I did lots of different types of sport. I did football, I did judo and cycling and badminton, and only a little bit of running. But as I got older and our children grew up and I got more spare time, I got back into running. And the person that's responsible is this chap here. His name is Keith. And Keith was a lorry driver, and his doctor told him he was overweight and he needed to get fit. And so he ran the London Marathon. And the next year he said to me, Martin, if I can do it, you can do it. So, do we all know how far a marathon is?
Okay, guys, do you know how far a marathon is?
50 kilometers.
Pardon?
15. Oh, 50.
50.
Very close, a bit less. It's 42 kilometers. So anything over 42 kilometers would call an ultra marathon. So 42 kilometers is a very long way to run. And you can't just go out of your front door and run 42K. You need to train up for it. So you start by running short distances that gradually become longer. So you might start with 5K and progress to 10K and progress to 20K. You'll run uphill because that's hard and it builds endurance. You'll run fast, you'll run slow, and you'll do other types of training. You'll have to change what you eat because there's certain foods that don't really help. So you don't want to be overweight. The heavier you are, the more of you there is to carry around. So you need to be careful with your diet. So you reduce foods that have got carbohydrate and you increase foods that have got protein because protein's good for repairing muscle. So here's a picture for you. Now, I'm in the yellow t-shirt. I'm guessing somebody can tell me where that is.
Okay, guys, so who recognized the place? What do you think? Where is it?
Tower Bridge.
In London.
Tower Bridge. Very good, thank you. So that was my first marathon back in 2002. Now I like this picture because it's my first marathon and you can see me in a yellow shirt, but there's a chap behind me, a person behind me, also in a yellow shirt, a yellow vest, is appearing just underneath the bridge. And he is Frank Bruno. I don't know if you've heard of Frank Bruno, but Frank Bruno is a boxer. He's a world champion boxer. He's very famous in this country, and I'm hoping you might have heard of him. No. So I like that picture because he's an Olympic athlete, a world championship boxer, and I'm in front of him. So yes, I ran London, and when you finish a marathon, it feels great for lots of reasons. You feel very emotional. You feel very happy because you've done something you've probably never done before in your life. You're extremely fit. You're happy because the training's finished. It's taken you 3 months to get fit enough to run a marathon, and you've been running for hours every week. And all of a sudden, you don't have to do it, and you get hours of time back in your life to do other things with. And food that you might like, but you've not been allowing yourself to have, all of a sudden you can have again. So it's great. You feel emotionally very high and very happy when you've completed a marathon. Now, last week, for those who were on the meeting call last week, I asked you to guess how many marathons I'd done, and we told you it was more than 100. Would anybody like a guess?
Okay. So would you like to guess, guys? Just give your numbers. Oh, okay, so you can write in the chat box. So Martin, can you see the chat box?
No, can you call it out to me?
231.
More.
It's from Mark. More. Okay, more. Then I will not read the other because it was less. Okay. 300, 321.
Very close.
Which one? 321 close?
Yeah, just a few more than 321.
Hello?
So a little bit more than 321. 325?
It's 347.
Okay.
If it wasn't for the fact that we can't run at the moment due to the virus, I'd have been on 350 by now, which is really frustrating. So how did I get there? Well, I really enjoyed running London, and London is a very difficult race to get into. There's about 30,000 people run it every year, but over 100,000 people try to get in. So a lot of them get refused entry. But the next 2 years, I was able to get into London just for asking. I was very, very lucky. And having run one marathon a year for a while, Keith and I ran a marathon together. Can you tell me where this one is?
The T-shirt's a bit of a clue on Keith.
Yeah. Okay. So, guys, can you have a look and guess where it is? The T-shirt can help.
It's a Paris.
Paris. Very good. Yeah. So we ran Paris together. I look very young there. It's the first time I've seen that picture for a while. That was Keith's 10th marathon. And as I say, he was a bit older than me. And after 10 marathons, he decided to stop. That was it. He was going to do easier things. He actually bought himself a canoe and changed sport. But I wanted to keep going. And having done 1 or 2 marathons a year, I started thinking, I wonder if I can do 3 a year. And towards the end of the year we ran Paris, I met this chap, and this is Danny. And Danny changed my life. Danny's responsible for making me what I am. Danny in that picture is probably 68 years old, and he had run over 400 marathons at that time. We call him Beefcake. So if you know McDonald's and you know hamburgers, Beefcake is very much like hamburger. He's a real athlete, and when he was a young man, he was very fast. And now we call him Beefcake, or simply the legend. Danny at the moment has run slightly over 700 marathons, and he's 78 years old. So I found Danny to be inspirational. So you can see me again, hopefully. So the thing that I learned from Danny was that there was such a thing as the 100 Marathon Club. I'd never heard of it before, and as soon as I knew it existed, I wanted to join. But you can't just write to them and be allowed in. It's very exclusive. Even now, there's fewer people in the 100 Marathon Club than have stood on the top of Mount Everest. So it's pretty hard to get in. They don't recognize you exist to begin with. You exist, you are recognized when you've run 50 marathons. Now I'll try a word out on you. When you've run 50 marathons, they class you as a wannabe. Do you know what a wannabe is?
Maybe it's better to explain, I guess.
Yeah, so a wannabe, it's like a slang word. It's running three words together. It's want to be. So I want to be in the 100 Marathon Club. And when I've done 50, they call me a wannabe. So I became a wannabe. And in 2008, I ran 5 marathons that year, and I was very pleased with myself. I'm just going to go back to screen sharing. Right. Can you tell me where that marathon is? I'm in the yellow jacket with the red shirt. This is a bit harder.
Venezia.
Can you
Pardon?
It's Italy.
It is Italy.
It's Italy?
Yes.
Do you know whereabouts in Italy?
The
About
place,
the tower.
the place with all the canals.
Venice.
Venice.
Venice? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Venice, correct, thank you. So just behind my head, you can see St. Mark's Tower, which is a famous landmark in Venice. That was actually quite a hard marathon because in Venice, there's lots of water, lots of canals, lots of bridges, and you have to run up and down and up and down and up and down. And I was very tired at the end. But I managed to run 5 marathons that year, and I worked out that if I kept on doing 5 marathons a year, I'd get into the 100 Club by the time I was 70. And then I thought, I might be dead by the time I'm 70, or I might get badly injured. So I thought, I wonder if I can do a few more than 5 marathons a year. And the next year, I ran 12 marathons. Now this one's a bit of a giveaway. We were on holiday in America with Dave and Anne, as it happened. And when Dave and Anne flew east to come home, we flew west to do the San Francisco Marathon. So yeah, 2011 that was, and I ran 12 marathons that year. And then in 2013, I ran here. That's a harder one for you.
So it's back in Italy again.
It's Germany.
Yes, it's Rome.
Yeah, that's probably a better picture.
That's the Colosseum.
So it's the Colosseum in Rome, and there was myself and some friends that I went over with, and we all ran around the streets of Rome together. So by 2013, I was running 22 marathons a year. And I thought, I'm getting there. And then I thought, well, if I do a little bit more than 22 a year, I can get to 100 marathons in the next 2 years. And that's what I did. And in this country, not far from where I live, there's a picture of a giant carved onto a hillside, very, very old. And the marathon is called the Giant's Head Marathon. And you can see from that picture, they gave me a special number 99, because I was on 99 on the start line. And when I finished, I was on 100. And you can see that, was it me or was it a friend made that special sign for you? Karen's got a little badge. I think I had that made for her that said 2,620 miles of support. So 26 miles is 42 kilometers. So Karen had supported me 100 times on running my marathons. So I thought I'd better get her something to say thank you. And that's me looking very, very, very happy with myself. And that shirt is the shirt of the 100 Marathon Club. And you can only get that shirt when you join. No one else is allowed to wear it. And that's the medal. So when you've done your 100th marathon, you receive that medal. So I'd, at this point, run 100 marathons, and lots of people that run distance running, they stop at this point. It's too hard. But I did a lot of running with a friend called Jane, and when I got to 100, Jane was on about 80. So I thought, well, I can't just stop and leave her. So I kept on running, and eventually Jane got in the 100 club. And at that point, I was on about 130. And of course, when you're on 130, 150 is not that far away. And so I thought, well, if I just keep on going a bit more, I should be able to get to 200. Now, there isn't a 200 marathon club, it's just the 100 club. But I thought that would be really nice to have run 200 marathons. And I was coming up for retirement. Time to stop working, time to have some free time, to do more. So in early 2017, I ran my 200th marathon. Now I need to come back because I want to wave something at you. We'll stop the sharing. When I ran my 200th marathon, to celebrate, Karen knitted this for me. This is a little doll, yeah? Karen's knitted more than one of these now. This is the first one, and it's called Mini Me. Mini because it's small, me because it's meant to look like me. It's got black shorts, orange shoes, and the blue 100 Marathon Club shirt. So that was my present from Karen to celebrate getting to 200 marathons. When my friends saw Mini Me, they wanted one. And so Karen had to knit another one, and then another one, and another one. Karen has now knitted over 100 dolls. And what we do is when somebody asks for one, we say, well, yes, you can, Karen will knit one for you. Each doll is about a week's work, but you must give a donation to charity. And I think Karen's raised between £3,000 and £4,000 so far for charity through the dolls, which is great. So back to screen sharing. Right. Oh, it's not working.
That was your cake.
That was my cake. So when you run your 100th marathon, you have to buy cake for everyone. So I had a really big cake made with the 100 Club badge on it. So having done 200 marathons and having just retired, I was in a really good place. because when you retire, you can choose what to do with your time. And I thought, I wonder if I can run 52 marathons in a year. And I've never done that before. And I know a few people that have. And I thought it sounded like a good challenge to do when you retire and you've got all the time to spend doing what you want to do. And the best way to do 52 marathons a year, which is like 1 marathon a week, is to get off to a really good start. So in the first part of the year, I ran 10 marathons in 10 days. And you're a bit tired having done that, but it means that if you're trying to do one every week, then if you've got a problem, if you hurt your leg, if you've got to go and visit your grandma or something, you've got a bit of spare time to be able to do that. So that year, I ended up running 61 marathons, which is the most I've done in a year. I have now run 52 in a year 3 times. I sort of did it accidentally once, and then I did it again. So yes, I ran 52 marathons, 61 marathons in the year I retired. And this one was towards the end of the year. Now, this is a bit harder to work out, but again, we were on holiday with Dave and Anne. Can anybody work out where it is?
Cuba.
Yes. Does anybody know the capital of Cuba?
Guys, do you know? I don't.
Anybody heard of Havana?
So the capital of Cuba is a town called Havana. And we had a holiday in Cuba, and the first part of the holiday we spent in Havana. And that's me on the start line, getting ready to go. So,
Martin, I'm sorry, there is a kind of echo that's just started. Can you say something again?
yeah, can you hear me okay?
No, it's, well, I don't know about the others. Guys, do you hear?
Yes, it's some strange sound.
Yeah, something is like it's breaking up a little bit, or it's a little bit weird, like an echo or something.
You want me to dial out and dial back in again?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, I'll leave and rejoin.
Okay, thank you. Mhm. So, how are you guys doing? So, I don't know, I hope you are enjoying, because I'm really enjoying. So, and oh my God, I can't imagine how a person can do that 52 marathons.
It's interesting seeing what he looks like when he has finished his marathons. It's not a pretty sight.
I bet.
We have done this several times now, and it's not pretty. Don't ever look at his toenails. Oh, is he back? Oh, heck.
I wasn't going to tell that story,
No.
but I will now.
No,
Don't ever look at his toenails.
Is that any better?
Yeah, it's better, much better. Thank you.
Good. Okay. So that was Havana. Now, I can show you my toes, but there's nothing to report on today. The story is that I have a friend, and it was actually when I was just about to run my 100th marathon. My friend, who's a man of my age, can you see me? Oh, no.
You're not. Uh-huh.
There. Yeah, my friend, who's a man of about my age, was sitting outside painting his toenails. And I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, well, there's a famous Olympian called Jessica Ennis.
A lady.
A lady. She won a gold medal when the Olympics were in London. And she was asked what she did before a major sporting event. And she said, I sit at home and I paint my toenails. And my friend thought, well, if it's good enough for her, it's good enough for him. And so for a while, I painted my toenails. And when I went down to New Zealand to run some marathons, I got Karen to paint them. So the New Zealand flag is black with a silver fern on it. On every toenail, I had black toenails and a silver fern.
It does cause me problems sometimes, Elena.
Right, let's go back to screen sharing. Let's try that one. So that was Havana. I'm hoping you all know where that one is.
No.
Same goal.
Moscow.
Moscow. Thank you. I was hoping
Yeah,
you'd get
Moscow.
that. Moscow.
Moscow University.
But
Yeah, Moscow.
Is it university, though?
Yeah, that was in 2008. We came over.
No, it's not 2008.
2018, sorry. We came over for a holiday, and that was my 280th marathon.
That was the year we met Elena.
Yes, 2 years ago.
And then, obviously, I kept on going. And later that year, I ran my 300th marathon. The lady on my left-hand side there is Jane. And I mentioned Jane to you before. She's run about 270 marathons now, but we did my 300th together. And when I ran my 300th, lots of my friends were there, and I told you about the dolls. So you can see me at the very back of that group of dolls. And the doll with the black shirt and the glasses on the left-hand side is Karen. The doll with the yellow jacket next to Karen is Jane's husband. And you can see lots of other people there. Each doll is personalized. Each doll is different. So we have a lot of fun with our dolls. When our friends travel across the world to run marathons, we often get pictures coming back showing the dolls in, Russia or South Africa or wherever. So that was the medal I was given on my 300th. I ran it in some beautiful gardens in England, and the person that owned the gardens, his family had spent a lot of time in India in previous years, and so the theme of the medal was an Indian elephant. There's an easy one to guess.
Yeah, so guys, where is it?
New York.
Okay.
New York.
So last November, Karen and I had a short break in New York to run the marathon. That was my, what number was New York? 336. So that was my 336th marathon. The most expensive marathon I have ever run in my life, and I won't ever do it again, but it was fun. And now I'm on 347, and it has sort of stopped due to COVID. So you might ask why I do it. I find it fun. It's really good to be fit and to keep your fitness up. I have so many friends around the world from marathon running. It's a big sense of achievement. I love to travel. I've shown you some marathons from around the world. In the United Kingdom, the whole country is divided up into counties. Think of counties like regions, small regions. In the whole of the United Kingdom and Ireland, there's about 100 counties. the 100 Club, there's a county badge that you can get, but you've got to run in 52 different counties. Sorry, 50 different counties. And there's only 8 people have managed to do that. So I got my 50 county badge as well, which I'm very pleased with. So it's about achievement. It's about fun, fitness, travel, and adventure. So that's where I've got to. What I want to do next, I'd like to run just one more marathon again, but it's very difficult with the virus. I'll probably think about stopping when I get to 500, because that's a nice round number.
I don't think so.
I've never
No.
I've never run more than 50 miles in a day, but I've got some friends that run 100 miles in a day, and stop shaking your head, Elaine. And I'd quite like to do that. The other thing that I'd like to do is you can run marathons on the road, and they're called obviously road marathons. You can run trail marathons. Now, trail marathons are my favourites, where you're going out across fields and up hills and on paths, anywhere but the road. It's very easy to get lost, but it's a lot of fun running on the trail. So I'd quite like to run 100 road, 100 trail, and 100 ultra marathons, where an ultra is more than 26 miles or 42k. At the moment, I've done about 90 on the road, 270 on the trail. No, that's wrong. 170 on the trail, and only 30 or 40 ultras. And the trouble with ultras is they're very hard to do because it's a very long way. So I really need this virus to disappear so I can get on and get my numbers up. So yeah, that's me. I did a talk on my running habit. I was going to say obsession, but we'll call it habit.
Mart, can you turn screen share off, please?
Yeah, I just wanted to show this last one. I finished with this slide because lots of people think, how do you do it? And you do it one step at a time. You know, if you've not run before, then you start out by going out your front door and running to the next lamppost. And then the next day you might run for 2 lampposts. And wherever I am, there's people that are more extreme than me that have done much more than me. So it's all about starting and getting going, really. So that's my story.
Wow.
I put on my Moscow t-shirt specially for you this evening. Can you see that?
Yeah, great.
Good.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I just want to say a few words. Like when I met, well, I still remember how I met you, the 4 of you at the airport. And then David told me, you know, my friend Martin is a marathon runner. Crazy guy, how does he do it? I don't know. So that's what he said. And I got really interested. Like, you know, you don't often meet a person who runs so many marathons. And today, I don't know, for me, it's just amazing how you can do it. Like 52 marathons a year, that's a lot for me. Okay, so guys, do you have any questions? Yeah, Nastya has a question. Yeah, go ahead, Nastya. Nastya, do you have a question? So if you have a question, put a question mark in the chat, for example, and we will, you know, yeah. Dima, let's start with you.
How many kilometers do you run as a training?
Training's very interesting. When you get to do more than 10 marathons a year, you don't really need to train because you're permanently fit. The problem when you're doing more than 10 marathons a year is you're permanently tired. Your body is tired, and you need to take great care of your recovery. When I run, I don't run quickly. If you want to hurt yourself and damage your muscles, run quickly. You can do one marathon quickly, but the chances of having a bad injury, if you try and go very fast, doing the number of marathons I do, it's just going to end in failure. So typically, I would run on a Saturday or a Sunday. Monday or Tuesday, I would have the day off. It's normally about 36 hours after I've run that my muscles are really sore. So in the early part of the week, I might go to the gym, I might do some stretching exercises. Tuesday night, I'm in a running club, we'll go out and I might do 5 or 10 miles. Thursday night, I go out with the beginners because I help encourage people to get running. And that's fun. That's just a sort of slow 4 or 5 mile run. And then at the weekend, I'll be doing another marathon. So I'll probably run 40 miles a week. Last year, I set myself a different challenge. So last year was 2019, and I decided to run 2,019 miles in the year 2019, which is about 3,500 K. So it's 5 miles a day. It's like doing a 10K race every day for a year. It's quite hard to do. It's not a clever thing to do because you're always tired.
Thank you. Anne has got a question. Yes, Anne?
Yeah.
Thank
Martin, what's the fastest you've ever run a marathon, and what's the slowest you've ever run a marathon?
The fastest, I've run a couple in under 4 hours. So I'm not particularly fast. I started running marathons when I was too old to be fast. There is a man called Steve Edwards who's run about 800 marathons, and 750 of those are under 3.5 hours, which is simply phenomenal. It's just amazing. The slowest, it's difficult. There's so many that are slow. When you run on the trail, things happen. You get lost. You might come across somebody who's injured. I did a 50-mile run that took 12 hours, and lots of things went wrong that day, but it's all part of the fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Svetoslav has got a question. Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Have you ever won the marathon?
Have you ever won the marathon?
Have I ever won a marathon? No, I was in the lead once at about mile 16. My friend and I were running, and everybody had gone off ahead of us, and we were running down a road all by ourselves thinking we were last, and then we saw loads of people starting to run towards us, the entire field of marathon runners, and they'd all gone wrong, and we realized that we were going in the wrong direction, so we turned round. And so at about mile 16 we were winning, but it didn't last.
Oh.
But I'm not bothered about winning. I don't run to win. When I was younger, I might have done, but you know, there's hundreds and thousands of people in some of these events. It's about participating that matters. You have the best conversations at the middle of the field and at the back of the field.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Nastya had a question. Okay, so I will ask you a question. So Nastya is asking such a question: how many countries have you visited while participating in different marathons?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Shall we run through them?
Well, I'll let Karen think about that one. Can we come back to you on that? It's probably somewhere round about 10 or 15. We had a holiday in New Zealand and I ran 5 down there. Apart from the countries I've shown you, I ran in Singapore, which isn't a good thing to do because it's so hot and humid. I've run in Holland, I've run in Morocco, I've run in lots of places, probably about 15 countries.
Cool. Okay. Dave, your question?
Yeah. We've heard that Karen's dolls have raised a lot of money for the charity that you support. What is that charity, and why do you support it?
So the charity is a children's diabetic charity.
JDRF.
So you can see every doll that we make, or that Karen makes, has got a little badge that says JDRF. So that stands for juvenile. Juvenile means young. Juvenile Diabetes Research Forum. So diabetes is a problem with your body where you don't produce insulin correctly, and your blood and your sugar levels can cause real problems in life. So shortly after I started marathon running, I became diabetic. So we raise money for a children's diabetic charity.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So, Mark, your question?
Yeah, Martin, when you are running, what are you thinking about and what are you looking at?
That's a great question. So, two things are in my mind. I am diabetic, so a lot of the time I'm thinking about my sugar levels. Am I in a safe place? Do I need to eat some food? Do I need to inject some insulin? I tend to run with a group of friends. We call ourselves the posse. I don't know if you're familiar with that word. It's just a group, is a posse. So when I go for a run, I've probably got 10 or 12 people that are really close friends that I run with. And at any particular event, there might be 6, 7, 8 of them running along with me. You saw the dolls from my 300th marathon. Well, they were all from friends in the posse. So when I'm running, we're normally chatting along to each other, making sure we don't take a wrong turn, making sure that we're all okay, nobody's fallen behind, teasing people that are feeling really fit and have charged off and left us. I tend to be enjoying the countryside. There's some beautiful places that we can run in. So just enjoying the day, thinking of how much further you've got to go, what your energy levels are like, hoping it won't rain, just sort of managing yourself through the day and having a good time.
Okay, thank you, Mark. It was a good question. Yeah. So, and Anne has got a question for Karen.
Karen, when Martin is busy running all his marathons, what do you do?
Well, as Martin has explained, he is diabetic. So when he's running, sometimes he has to stop and eat so that he has the right energy and his insulin levels are okay. So I do a lot of supporting. Every marathon I support. And I don't just support Martin, but I will support Martin's friends as well. We have an official title, Marshal. Very often I marshal at marathon events. But if I'm not marshalling and Martin is on a trail marathon, I will get in my car and I will go to the different points that he has to stop at to make sure he has a drink and food. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you. So, guys, we have time for one more final question. Don't miss the chance. So, who would like to ask the final question of the evening?
Shall I tell you? Is there one coming through?
No. Well, I don't know. I can ask. I have a question actually about the weather conditions. So, like, would you run a marathon in any weather? In any weather?
Yes. And I have done. Yeah. So I'm not actually very good in hot weather. The hotter it is, the harder I find it. Poor weather, I don't mind. You just buy a big coat and carry on. The question that I'm often asked is, which is my favourite marathon? My least favourite marathon, there's a town in England called Mablethorpe. If you ever get the chance to go to Mablethorpe, don't do it. It's not a good thing to do. It's flat, it's made of concrete, it's boring, it's miserable. I ran the Mablethorpe Marathon. We ended in tears. It was dreadful. Never go to Mablethorpe. In terms of the favourite marathon, it's very difficult to say. So the things I like about, what would make a favourite marathon to me is a pleasant day, good friends, a good performance. I don't get lost. I finish in a reasonable time. I'm out on the trail. There's a few hills involved. And near the coastline, being able to see the sea. All those things matter to me, and I'm lucky to think I've probably done 30, 40, 50 like that. Near where we live, the coastline, there's a lot of fossils, old dinosaur bones, and they call it the Jurassic Coast. And my friends tease me, because I'm the oldest of the group that I run with, and we give each other nicknames, or joke names. And when we're running on the coastal trail, on the Jurassic Coast, they tend to call me King Fossil, which is quite nice. So yes, I'd say a coastal run in the southwest of England would be my favourite.
All right. So if nobody has any more questions, we've been talking for quite a long time, but it was really interesting. Like, it's really difficult to stop listening to you, Martin. It's like amazing. So I hope that you got inspired. Maybe some of you will follow Martin's advice and start running. So I think that it was really inspirational. So thank you very much, Martin, Karen, David, and it was great to see you. And thank you for the story, Martin. It's like, for me, it's really inspirational. I don't know about the others. So thank you very much. It was a great pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you for your wonderful questions. And we'll see you all next Sunday for our next episode of Bedtime Story Project. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.